See, in today's class, we'll see, like, we'll start Unit 3. Okay. Actually, in Unit 3, we'll see, actually, majorly two topics. One is inheritance. Okay. Second topic is polymorphism and virtual functions. Okay. Uh, Before that, actually, in the second unit, we have learned some topics, right? Okay. We'll just recap those topics first. Okay. Uh, Actually, in
Sir,
total second unit,
sir, can
tell
you
me,
share your screen again?
it is not visible.
No, sir. It just now got disconnected. Don't know why.
One second.
Hmm.
Now it is
Yes, sir. Continue.
okay. See, in second unit, it's totally related to classes. Okay, uh, majorly first in the initial classes we have seen what is class and object. Okay, then access specifiers. What are those access specifiers? Can anyone? Private,
Private, public, protected.
public, protected. Right. These three we will learn once again in this inheritance concept. Then uh, member functions. Right. Member functions you can write inside the class and outside the class also. Inside the class directly you can write. When you are writing outside the class, you need to use scope operator. This is the scope operator. You need to use this scope operator while writing definition of the member function outside the class. Inside the class, if you are writing inside the class means directly you can write just like a normal user defined function. If you are writing inside the function means that will become inline function by default. Okay. After member functions, we have seen constructors, right? Constructors and destructors also. Constructors and destructors. Constructor is similar to member function only, but name of the constructor is same as class name. Okay, constructors are used to tell me what is the use of this constructor. Constructors are used to initialize the objects. Okay, destructors are used to destroy your objects. Okay, same destructors also similar to constructor only, but additionally we'll use this till operator. Okay, same destructor name as same as class name only. Okay, which is used to destroy your objects. Then after that, uh, I think friend function. Okay, constant members means constant data members and a constant member function we have seen, and static. Just additionally we'll use friend keyword, constant keyword and static keyword. Okay, like constant keyword and in constant we use for data members we use this const keyword, and for member functions also we have used. Okay, in the same static also, static data member and static member function. Then this keyword. Okay, this keyword is no, it is not this keyword, this pointer you need to say. Okay, this is a pointer which always like having the address of current object. Current object means, for example, you have created one object. That particular object address will stores this pointer. By using this pointer, you can get the current object address, and also which is used to refer the local variables. For example, you have one function, okay, member function that is expecting two parameters like int a comma int b. Okay, in the same in your class you have the same members, data members like int a b. In this case, this function having the local variables a and b and members also a and b. Okay, in that case if you want to refer these members into uh, These local variables, if you want to store into these members, you will use this pointer. Okay, how you will use this pointer? This like pointer to member operator. This is pointer to member operator, and a equals to a. This is the local variable. This is the data member. This value you are storing into this particular data member. Okay, this is the way you can use this pointer, okay, to refer the local variables. And I think dynamically how you can create objects and how you can destroy the objects, that we have seen. And last topic is abstraction is there. Just go through, I have shared one document just now. Just go through what is abstraction. Already we have seen when we talk about object oriented futures. Okay, just just related to abstraction from by using abstract classes. By using abstract classes, we will achieve this abstraction that we will see in this third unit only. But I have given some small definition related to this abstraction. Just go through that definition. Already we have seen. Okay, these we have learned in this second unit. Okay, just go through once briefly. See, clear, right? These are the topics that we have learned in the second unit. Okay, coming to this third unit. Okay, before then, can anyone say what are the futures of object oriented paradigm? Oops, paradigm. Can anyone remember?
Sir, it follows top-down approach, and we have some small parts called as these functions. And
Futures, I'm just asking futures.
okay, we have 6 features. They are encapsulation, polymorphism, data abstraction,
Yeah,
inheritance, and some other two I don't remember.
class, object, inheritance. Okay, polymorphism. Yeah, that is also come under this polymorphism only. Okay, next, encapsulation. What else? Abstraction. Yeah, the
Abstraction and
dynamic
dynamic
binding will
data
come
binding.
under this encapsulation and abstraction only. These are the majorly the six. Okay, these are the major building blocks of any object-oriented paradigm. Okay, class. What is class? And what is object? Okay, inheritance. Okay, polymorphism, encapsulation, and abstraction. Okay, this object. What is class and object? We have already seen in the second unit. Okay, see, a class is a blueprint, okay, which is used to create the objects. Okay, object is the instance of a class. Okay, object exists physically, class does not exist physically. It is a logical entity, it is a physical entity. Okay, whenever you are creating object, then only memory is going to allocate for this particular object. But once you are declaring class means no memory is allocated for the class. Okay, once you are creating object, then only memory is going to allocate it for that particular object. Okay, in that object, once you're creating object means all the properties, and for example here class A is there. Class A. Okay, for this particular class, here I will write this class A is there. Okay, inside this class you will have data members and member functions, right? This is the syntax to create any class. Okay, need to remember class keyword is the keyword and class name. Okay, open bracket and close bracket. Okay, semicolon. Inside this you can write data members, okay, and member functions, right? See, once you are declaring any class, no memory is going to allocate for this particular class. Once you are creating object, then only memory is going to allocate. In that you can store your data. Okay. See how you can create an object for this particular class. Just simple class name, object name. Here obj is the object. Okay. Which type of object it is? A type. A means A is a class here. Now for obj, for this obj you have the memory. Okay. Inside this obj you can store data members and member function of type this class, this particular class, like object you can store. Okay. See here, you have the class and you have the object. You are able to store some data. Okay. Coming to this third unit. Okay. These are the topics we have already seen. Okay. Coming to this third unit, majorly we have inheritance. Just a second. Already we have seen in OOPS futures. See, inheritance means like it is a process of acquiring the properties from one class to another class. For example, here you have one class A. Okay, this class A having, class A means just like this. This is the class A. Okay, inside this class you have some data members and some member functions. Okay, see here I'm just deriving this inheritance. Inheritance is a process of acquiring properties from one class to another class. That means, for example, here class A is there. Okay, I have one more class B. See, I'm just acquiring the properties from this particular A into this B. See, class consists data members and member functions, right? These data members and member functions, I'm just deriving into another class B. Okay. This mechanism or this scenario, you can say that inheritance. Definition is acquiring the properties from one class to another class is called inheritance. The class which inherits the properties is called base class. Base class or superclass, or you can say parent class. Okay, the class from which you are acquiring the properties. Okay, from A I'm just acquiring some properties into B, right? Here you can say A is a base class or a super class. All are same. Some other names only. Base class or a super class or parent class. Okay, the class which gets the properties from another class, you can say this B here subclass or derived class, or you can say child class. Simple. uh, you are trying to use this inheritance concept. Here you have class A and class B. You are getting some properties. You are getting all the properties from one class to another class. This process you can say like inheritance. Okay, acquiring the properties from one class to another class is called inheritance. The class which inherits the properties is called base class. Okay, or super class or parent class. Okay, in this scenario A is the parent class or base class, and B is the subclass or derived class, or you can say child class. Remember, any you just remember, base means from where you are inheriting the properties, and for base, derived class. Okay, super class and subclass, parent and child. See, what is the use of this inheritance is you can get the reusability concept. You can or like you can get the reusability concept and you can get the extensibility. See, what is this reusability and extensibility? We'll see. Just understand this concept inheritance. Okay, you're trying to acquiring the properties from one class to another class. Consider like just it is just similar to parent-child relationship only. Okay, see, suppose uh, this is your grandfather. Okay, this is your grandfather having some one property. Property means, for example, in Hyderabad, you have one building. Okay, ground floor. GF means here grandfather. This GF means ground floor. Okay, one floor is there with some property. See, this property is given to his son. Okay, this is your father. Suppose, sorry, what he did is, uh, along with the ground floor, he constructed one more first floor. This is ground floor, and this is first floor. Understand the concept, and the same thing get from your father. This is you, means son. This is ground floor, and this is the first floor, and this is the second floor. See, acquiring the properties of grandfather is getting this father. Means all the properties of this grandfather are also belongs to this father. Okay. See, whatever the properties that this father having, all this father, owner of this property also this son. The son gets all the property from this father. See, here I'm saying all the properties. This is the father class. Consider this is the grandfather class and this is the son class. Son class gets all the properties from father class. Okay, this father class gets all the properties from grandfather class. Means whatever this grandfather class having, all the properties will exist inside this father class. You can see here you have ground floor. Okay, just given ground floor only, and this father class may have some other properties as well. All the properties will exist in father class, and also this father class may consist some other properties, just like he may constructed one more floor, first floor, like that. Okay, the same way son as well. Son, all the properties from grandfather and father will exist inside the son class, and also this son class also having some other properties. That means here you have class A. Okay, one more class B is there. Suppose if you are deriving this B class from A, in that case, all the properties, whatever you have written here, these will appear in class B itself. And also, this B may having some its own properties. Okay, here you can write properties of B as well. That means from this class, you are reusing your properties. See, here ground floor is there. Within that ground floor, you are reusing here itself. Okay, inside this ground floor, you are constructing one more floor. Okay, inheritance gives the reusability concept. Okay, here already you have some data members and member functions are there. You are simply deriving those data members. Okay, if you are deriving that class into another class, means all the whatever you have inside that A. Okay, okay, just a second. Are you able to see my screen?
It's
Yes,
One
sir.
second. See, whatever the properties that you have, properties means simple. You are once you talk about class means the class consists data members and member functions only. All the data members and member functions you can use inside the B as well. Okay. See, and this B may having some more data members and member functions. Okay. See, whatever the class, this A class you are saying it is base class, and this B is the derived class, or you can say subclass. Okay, all the base class members you can reuse inside this B, and also you are this is reusability, and you can extend your classes, extensibility. See, extensibility means, for example, the same thing. For example, in initial we have ground floor. Okay, you are extending something, right? You are reusing here, and you are extending this thing. Okay, this is the first floor. See, you are reusing here, and also you can extend your properties. Okay, from ground floor to first floor. The same way, you can extend these properties. You are the same ground floor and first floor you are reusing here, and also you are extending your properties. That means whatever you have inside this A, those properties you are reusing here, and also you are extending some properties. Okay, based on your requirement, you can write your this B class may have its own members. Okay, its own data members and member functions. And also, if you want to derive one more class from this B, okay, you can derive. Okay, now this C consists all the properties from A as well as from B, and the C may having its own properties. Clear that concept? Simple. You have one class. From this class, you are acquiring some properties into some another class. This A class you are saying base class or super class or parent class. Just remember, inheritance means parent-child relationship. Parents having some property. That property will get by the child. Okay, this is the parent and the child. Child can get all the properties from the parents. The same coming to programming world also. You have one class. Okay, if you want to derive one more class from that particular class, okay, that scenario you can say here inheritance. Deriving or acquiring the properties from one class to another class is called inheritance. Okay, the class which inherits the properties is called base class, superclass, or parent class. The class which gets the properties is called derived class, okay, or subclass, or you can say child class. Okay, simple. Okay, this is the scenario related to inheritance. Okay, it gives the reusability and extensibility. Okay, reusability means that when you move yourself, 5A2, kindly mute yourself. Any doubts in this?
No, sir.
Simple concept, already related to inheritance. We already seen in OOPS concept, but uh, programmatically you are going to implement here. Okay, what is base class and what is derived class? Okay, whatever the property you have in A class, all will come into derived class as well. Okay, see, uh, now programmatically how you can implement this in C++. Okay, this concept for all the languages. Okay, or deriving the properties from one class to another class, and that base class and the subclass. Okay, all these just for any programming language. But coming to C++, how you can implement this thing? Okay, I'm saying, for example, I have one class A. Okay, this class A contains some data members. Okay, like int A, one data member, and void display, one member function. Okay, if you want to write any code for this, you can write. Okay, this is one class A. Okay, it having one data member and one member function. Okay, you have one more class B. Okay, this class may have some data member, some int B, void put data function, some function is there. Okay, this is also having some code. Here also you can write some code. See, you need to apply this inheritance concept for these two classes. Okay. See, syntax in C++ to get to use that inheritance property. Here it is. Okay. See, I want to apply this inheritance concept for these two classes, class A and class B. Okay. Syntax you need to follow for uh, in C++ is, see, class is a keyword here. Class derived class name. Class derived class name. Okay, colon, class derived class name, colon. Here access specifier, space, some space, then base class name. See, here class is a keyword. Okay, derived class name and access specifier. This is very, very important. Access specifier, or you can say mode, in which mode you are deriving the class. Access specifiers, you know, right? What are the access specifiers? You can, in this
Private, public,
place of access
protected.
specifier, you can go with private or public or protected.
Protect.
Not protect, it is protected. It is a keyword. Okay. In this place of access specifier, you can use these private or public or protected. See, just apply this class A and class B. Here class A is there, right? And here you have class B. Okay, just apply this syntax for this particular class A and class B. Okay, just I'm writing the example for this. Okay, class is a keyword. Okay, derived class name, for example, I'm just deriving class B. Okay, B is the derived class name or subclass. Okay, just this diagram, this is the A and this is the B. Okay, you are getting all the properties from this A to B. Okay, see, here you have B, class derived class name, colon. Okay, this colon you can say inheritance operator. Okay, already we use this colon along with the access specifiers, right? Inside, while writing inside the class, You can write some private members, protected members, and public members. Okay, after mentioning access specified, you need to give colon, right? In the same way here also, after writing derived class name, just mention like colon. Okay, this is inheritance operator. Okay, see, then access specifier. Okay, or you can say mode, in which mode you are deriving that particular class. Okay, I will tell what is this access specifier, what is the use of this thing. Okay, here just for I'm just applying public keyword. You can take any, either private, public, or protected. Okay, here for this particular B, I'm just deriving from A as public. Okay, just give the base class name. Here base class is A.
A.
Okay, class, derived class, colon, access specifier, and base class. Now you can write members here. Okay, for example, here class A is there already. Class A, like it is having some data members. Okay, now you are deriving this class B. Okay, class B is a derived class, means you are this is a subclass. You are deriving this class from A. From this A, you are deriving this B. Okay, syntax you need to follow is class name, sorry, class is a keyword, derived class name, and access specifier. In access specifier, you can take any one, private, public, or protected, and a base class name. Okay, this is the syntax you need to follow in C++. Okay, now inside this class B, you can write some data members. Okay, same, just apply here this thing also into some B. Okay, this is the data member, and like void put data, some member function. You may have some other also. I'm just writing these two. Okay, this is the way you can apply this inheritance concept in C++. Okay, now the thing is, whatever the member that you have in inside the class A, whatever you have inside the class A, all are visible inside this particular class B. Okay, just you are extending or you are deriving class B from class A. In this is the syntax you can do in C++. Okay, deriving a class from another class. Okay, that another class you are saying already that class is existing. That class you can call it as superclass or base class or parent class. The class which you are deriving, that class you can say derived class or subclass or child class. Okay, inside this for example, here inside this B you have both both the members of A and B. Okay, all the members are visible. So just like remember that concept. Okay, father, grandfather properties may use by father also. Father property may use by son as well. In the same way, properties of A can use by B, all the properties. Okay, this is the way you can go with inheritance concept. See, coming to this access specifier. Okay, in place of public, you can use private, protected, okay, or public, protected, or private. These three you can use. Okay, actually, based on this access specifier only, the visibility of base class members are available in class B. Okay, already when we talk about in second unit access specifiers concept. Okay, here you have three access specifiers, right? Private, or like protected, and public. See, this is the class, suppose A, private, some int A and the public void display. I'm just displaying the A here. Here, we'll just write some message. This is display function. Consider. And here why display function is over, and just close the class. Okay, this is the thing. You can use access space pairs inside the class. Okay, see, suppose when we talk about this access space pair, or like these private members, okay, these private members, can we access outside the class?
No, sir. No.
See, private members you cannot access outside the class, only inside the class. Okay, inside this particular class only you can access the private members, and members of this particular class also can use those private members. Means here, this void display is one member, right? Member function. This void display also can use those private members, and friends of that class also can use the private member. That is another topic, just leave about that. Here the thing is, private members you can access only inside the class, you cannot access outside the class. But public members you can access outside the class by using object reference, right? You can create one object by using that object reference only. See, suppose for this class, if I create one object obj, by using this object reference you can access this display function obj dot display, like this. In this way you can access public members. Like if I use protected here, I may have some protected members. Protected, some float, some f. You may have some protected members also. These protected members you can use in inside the class, members of the class. Even in derived class also you can use these protected members. Okay. See, when we talk about this protected access specifier, I already said in inheritance concept we will talk about this protected keyword in depth. Okay, these protected members you can use in derived class as well. These are accessible by the derived class. See, private members can access only inside the class and members of that particular class. Protected members can access inside the class, and also inside the derived class also you can use protected members. These are visible inside the protect inside the derived class as well. For example, if I derive one more class with this particular A, all the protected members of this particular A can access inside the B as well. And public members you can use outside the class. Public members can avail outside the class as well. Okay, clear, right? These access specifiers. Okay, if you know this concept, then only we can go with the inheritance. Okay, see, in place of access specifier here, in place of here access specifier, we are using private, public, or protected. Based on this access specifier only, members of class A are going to available in class B. Okay, before that you just concentrate these members. What is private member and protected member and public member? Private members you can access only inside the class. Okay, you cannot access outside. Okay, protected members you can access inside the class, as well as the inside the derived class also you can access these protected members. Public members you can access from anywhere means from outside the class you can access, but while accessing by using object reference only you can access this thing. By using object reference you can access. Now we will apply these private, protected, and public to our inheritance. Okay, here already I have written this thing, but here I'm just going to apply or like these members, what happens if I apply private member, what happens if I apply protected, and what happens like if I apply public. Now see, syntax is class derived class, okay, colon mode. Just I'm mentioning mode means access specifier, in which mode you are like deriving the class, then base class. Okay, this is the syntax you need to follow to use that inheritance concept. Okay, for example, in place of mode, if I use private, okay, that is private inheritance, or you can say private derivation. In place of mode, if I use private, okay, that inheritance you can say private inheritance or private derivation. Okay, syntax is, for example, I'm just considering A and B only. This is the class A and this is class B. I'm deriving like class B from class A. Okay, for this I'm just applying this particular private access specifier. Okay, see class B. B is the derived class, colon private A. Okay, this is private inheritance. Okay, private inheritance. Okay, here you can write the data members. What happens if I use private here? See, if I use private keyword, if I use this private inheritance, okay, suppose A consists some private members and some protected members and some public members. See, if I use private here, see if I use private here, the concept is inheritance. Okay, you need to get the all the properties and all the data members and member functions you can use inside the class B. Actually, in derived class, you need to use these members. Okay, these members you need to use. But if it is a private inheritance, if you are using access specifier at private, okay, can we use these private members outside? No, right? Private these private members of A cannot accessible inside the B, and this protected also cannot access becomes private. Okay, these protected members also you cannot access from derived class B. Okay, protected members also you cannot access. If it is a private, just remember this point. If it is a private derivation, you cannot access private members and protected members, and public members you can access, but these public members will become private inside, sorry, these public members will become private inside derived class, and even sorry, this these protected members also will become private. Just concentrate here. If I use private here, okay, class A having some members, right? It may having some private members, protected members, and public members. Actually, all these has to visible inside the B. Here you need to visible. But if I use this private access specifier here, this is the private inheritance, you can say. If I use this private, okay, from base class you can use only, you cannot access these private members. Okay, you cannot use private members here. These members are not visible inside the derived class, and protected members and public members are visible, but these will become private here. protected members and public members are visible inside the derived class as private members now. Okay, see, for example, in protected into B is there. Okay, in public some void get data function is there. Into B will become private here, and this void get data also will become private. Okay, this these int B and get data function will become private, right? These private members can we access from outside the class? Outside this B, you cannot access because these members are will become private to derived class if it is a private derivation or private inheritance. Little bit confusing, right?
No, sir.
Simple. You have class A. Class A having some generally, if you take any class, it may having some data members and member functions. Okay, those may be any type, private members or like protected members or public members. Okay, these private members you cannot access. Already we have seen private members are accessible only inside that particular class. Okay, here also inside the A only you can access. If you are deriving this class into another class also, you cannot use these private members in derived class as well. Protected members you can access. Okay, protected members you can access, but these protected members will become private inside derived class if it is a like private derivation or private inheritance, and public members also will become private inside derived class if it is a private derivation. In the same way, we have public inheritance. See, in public inheritance also, can we just simple, okay, here I'm just mentioning class B, instead of private you need to use public here, public A. Now what are the members you can use inside this B? Okay, see, if I use public keyword here, it will become public inheritance. Okay, can anyone take attendance? Rahman is present today. Rahman, are you there? Rahman is present.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Just take the attendance and follow to me. Okay, see, uh, if I use this public keyword here, now this derivation you can say derivation or inheritance, you can say public inheritance. If I use public keyword here, okay, these private members always not accessible. Okay, only inside the class only you can access. Now these protected members will become protected and public members will become public. If I use this public keyword here, same whatever the members that you have in class A, all members you can access now. Same, all members means private members always not accessible, protected members will become protected and public members will become public. Protected members you can access and public members will access. Same whatever protected members that you have, same inside the class B means in derived class also, those are visible as protected members only, and public members, whatever the public members that you have in class A, all the public members will become public inside class B as well. Okay, always we will use public only, but you need to know what is private inheritance, public inheritance and protected inheritance. Okay, I will give one table also. Don't get confused. Okay, see, if I use public mode here, all the members, private members cannot access. Private members you cannot access inside the derived class. Always private members cannot access. Okay, protected members will become protected and public members will become public. See, for example, this is the class A, right? Here you have some private members, protected members, and public members. All these will become, means private members you cannot access. Protected, same. Here also you can see as a protected members, and public members you can see as a public members here. Okay, this is about public inheritance. And the same way we have protected inheritance. Third one is we'll always use public inheritance only, but here you have option to like derive the one class from another class in three different ways: private inheritance, public inheritance, and protected inheritance. Here you are deriving class B from class A with the protected keyword. Protect A is the base class, right? Now what happens? You have, oh, you cannot access private members. Always private members only inside A only you can access. Inside B you cannot access. Okay, if I use protected keyword here, okay, see, if I use protected keyword while deriving the class, if I use protected here, okay, private members you cannot access, and protected members will become protected. Here also visible as a protected member, and public members as well will become protected. Simple thing, you are using this protected keyword here. Okay, here, this protected keyword here. If I use protected keyword, okay, from A you are getting the properties, right? From A you cannot access private members, and inside A you have some protected members. Those protected members will become protected inside the B as well. This A having some public members. Those public members you can see inside the class B as a protected members. Public members will become protected here. Okay, if I use protected, this protect public members will become protected. Okay, finally, I think time is over. Finally, I will give one these all the modes into a one single diagram. Okay, single table. But it takes a little bit time. We don't have time. The same we'll see in the next class. Okay, in a single table I will give all entire these derivations: private inheritance, protected inheritance, and public inheritance. Just remember this particular, don't get confused, just remember this table. I will give this table tomorrow. Okay, if you remember this table, okay, you are able to derive all the derivations like private, protected, and public. Okay. Okay, that's all for today. Okay, we'll meet in the next class. If you have any doubts, like, you can note it down and you can ask me in the next class. Okay, whatever we have discussed today, I will share these notes in your group. Just same thing you can write in your notebook. Okay, I think I
Okay,
am planning to give one within the class only, but it may be, if there any network issue, it may be disturbed. I think so. Same whatever we have discussed as of now, day by day notes I will forward. Just write in your notebook. Okay, from unit 3 you should maintain uh, class notes only. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Okay, sir.
Clear, everyone?
Yes,
Yes, sir.
sir.
Okay. Yeah, that's it. We'll meet in the next class. Thank you, everyone.